African Americans are telling me in my comments, because I'm not from here, I don't have the right to speak about them. I've heard too many times that African Americans believe that we Africans look down upon them when we come to this country, that we think we're better than them. It's false. When we were young in Africa, we worshipped African Americans. Yes. We changed our names to African Americans. My friends in school were called Jim Brown, Black Moses. I was called Superfly.
Okay.
Yes.
Go King.
Blacks in Africa, the barbershop, we go to barbershop until blacks started wearing afro, and we stopped and we started wearing afro.
Really?
We blacks hated our own fabric, the dashiki, until African Americans made it popular in the 70s, and we all started wearing it back. As a case, I had his albums. We've watched all the movies. Kool-Aid High, TNT Jackson, A Hell Up in Harlem, Detroit 9000, Truck Turner, you name it. And then we go home and we're trying to practice how they speak and all that. That was when we were in Africa. Ask any African who went through the 60s and 70s. They'll tell you, oh, we love them. Maya Angelou moved to Ghana, and she was like a sister. 14 years she lived in Ghana. Her son had an accident and broke his leg and arm in Ghana. African Americans are telling me in my comments, because I'm not from here, I don't have the right to speak about them. Do you know W.E.B. Du Bois? Do you know where he died? He died in Ghana, was buried in Ghana, and Nkrumah built a center for Pan-African studies. He came to Africa, the first black PhD holder from Harvard, W.E.B. He came to Ghana, Africa, to tell us that our best way is to be Pan-Africanist. We listened to him. We didn't tell him, who are you to come from the United States and tell us what to do? There's a guy called Kwame Ture. He was formerly called Stokely Carmichael. He's the one who came up with Black Power, Black Power. Do you know where he is right now? In Guinea, in Africa, with pistols on his hip. But you go into my comments, African Americans are saying, I don't know anything about them. Hear me. Know you, the African Americans, more than you know yourself. Why? Because I am coming from the place where they brought you from. So when I got here and I looked at you, I see too much of us in you, and that's why we stay away from you.
Bro, I'm reaching out to the African community. Why don't y'all like us? Because when I be at work and I be trying to talk to the African people, it always seemed like they be like looking at me funny or side-eyeing me. And at first I was thinking maybe they just don't understand me that well. Maybe they're not well acquainted with the way we speak or something. I don't know, but somebody brought it to my attention that they just don't like African-American people. And I didn't believe it at first, but then I started noticing certain little things. One of my coworkers was like, if you notice, they always cool with the white people. They love white people. I'm like, no, I don't think it's that. Like, there's no way they like white people more than they like us. That don't even make sense. I'll never forget. I was walking down this long pathway at my job. It's like a long pathway. And I see somebody just running this way like super, super fast. And it was an African. And I'm sitting there watching this, and she's a beautiful African lady, like super beautiful. Like, but she running this way. I'm looking like, what's she running from? It's a white dude behind her chasing her, and they both just laughing and giggling. I'm like, ain't that the same girl I was just trying to talk to yesterday, and she act like she couldn't understand nothing I was saying? How she having so much fun talking to this white man, but she can't be cool with me? Like, that's insane. Like, why don't y'all like us? Like, what is it that y'all don't like about us? I thought we was cool. And then as time went on, more and more, like, down the line, I'm starting to peep, like, this is a reoccurring pattern. Like, it keep on happening. I'm starting to peep that ain't no Africans trying to talk to me. They all act funny towards me, but they do be messing with the white people. And I'm like, bro, that's a real thing? Like, I used to hear people say it, but I didn't really believe it. Like, I'm not the type of person that just hear something and just believe it automatically. Like, I got to see for myself. And once I really seen it, like, this same African lady I was just trying to talk to yesterday, not being flirtatious, not being weird or nothing, like, regular conversation, just trying to, you know what I mean, help make the day go by, like, not even saying nothing bad or nothing. This same lady who wouldn't even give me a conversation was being chased down by a white man, laughing and giggling. I couldn't believe it. Why don't y'all like us? I understand we're a little bit Americanized and everything like that, and we're a little bit brainwashed, and, you know, we can be ignorant at times, but every African American is not like that. I don't like to see myself as an ignorant person who runs around starting I don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't do that at all. So I don't understand. It's very frustrating. I don't even want to talk about it no more. But hey, have y'all ever experienced that?
There are African Americans and Black Americans who think Africans hate them. Yeah? There are black people in Europe who think that Africans hate them. There are Africans in Africa who think Black Americans, African Americans, and all black people in Europe hate them. Yeah? But there are African Americans who know that black people love them and black people want them back in the continent. And there are also black people who are in Africa who knows very well that African Americans do what? African Americans who are in Europe, black people who are in Europe, they do what? They love them. For different things, for different opinions, for people with the different opinions. Okay? Black Americans hate African Americans. Black Americans and black people in Europe hate Africans. Africans hate black Americans and African Americans and black people in Europe. Black people love black Africans love black people who are in Europe, and black people love Africans who are in Europe. These are four people with the different opinions. Yeah, that's why I've played a video. I want to play for you videos of African Americans who think, like, who are saying black people hate them, and those who are saying black people love them, and those Africans who are also confessing that they really do love black people, like they really do love African Americans and all that. Take a look at this video. I'll come back and talk about it.
I'm a black American, and I know for a fact that my ancestors came from West Africa. It's sad to see how much hate Africa gets. So why are you calling yourself black American and not African American, or just West African, first and foremost? Second of all, claiming where you're actually from, where your lineage is from, and where you were born doesn't mean that you hate anything or anybody. That's like me being born in Brooklyn, New York, and someone saying, no, you're originally from California, because of the stories that I heard from 500 years ago. The white people that absolutely hates our guts, that oppressed us, that redlined us, that raped us, that ate us, that stole from us, that lied to us. We see them in videos lying on us clear as day. You really think they're going to give you a clear depiction of what history actually is? Okay. And people saying, no, you're not from Brooklyn, you're from California. You from Inglewood. Like, huh? The indigenous people in Sentinel Island, they're jet black. They've never been colonized. Indigenous people all over the world were deeply melanated, first and foremost. Second of all, they're super, super dark. People can't even get on that island because they go in the war. They killing them dead as soon as they try to set foot on that island. Now, if they were to be colonized by fake clear folk missionaries, do you think that those clear folk will go over there and tell them people that they African when they've been over there for we don't even know how long? Because people, you can't even really study those people like that. But that's their homeland. That's where they're from. Or what about the Pacific Islanders? Pacific Islanders look a lot like us. A lot. The people from Fiji, the indigenous folk over there look a lot like black Americans. Like, now, are they forced to call themselves African Phoenician? Do y'all go to Jamaica and say you're African Jamaican? Do y'all go to Barbados and say you're African Barbados? I don't even know how you say it. Was it Bajan? Y'all don't do that to anybody but black Americans. It's very ironic. And then to say that it's hate, because literally I'm saying all of my ancestors, I knew my great-great-grandmother. She's never told me anything about coming from Africa. All of the stories she told me, they all was in the South, originated from the South. Her mother from the South, their mother from the South. Nobody was ever got off a boat, dated. And wouldn't there be some type of folklore, some type of proverbs that even the Africans, the West Africans will be passing down, warning their children of the white man that comes on a boat and kidnaps them by the millions? How come we ain't never read no story about that from the Africans or heard no proverbs about that from the Africans? Believe what you want to believe. You said you know, so I'm going to guess that you've done your genealogy the right way, which is through the paper trail, like going to the Library of Congress, looking up birth certificates and death certificates. Now, if you've done that and you've traced your lineage back to West Africa, kudos to you. Claim who you are, rep your set, but don't be manipulative. Don't try to gaslight and emotionally manipulate other people because they don't identify the same as you. That's okay. We can all be different. Black people were all over the world at one point. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
So I know a lot of y'all might come at my neck for this, but have y'all seen the video of the 59-year-old nurse? She is an African nurse who says that she hates African-American people. She would not march with us for any cause. She said that she particularly does not like African American women and that she thinks that she is better than us. And then she also proceeded to say, you stay in your lane and I'm going to stay in my lane. Well, I feel like for all that, stay in your country. Stay in your country. Like, what are you over here for? If you hate African American people so bad, why won't you stay in Africa? Why did you come over here? Did you come over here because you knew it was better opportunities, that you could make a little bit more money, that living conditions might be better? And trust me, I know that Africa is beautiful. I know there are many, many beautiful places in Africa. But what are you here for? What are you here for? And what makes it even worse is that you're a nurse. And I feel like you being a nurse is dangerous, because if you don't like African American people, how are you going to properly care for an African American person? And I'm going to link her name down below. I'm going to tag her page down below so you guys can see. I don't see that video on her page, but it's definitely her. But yeah, if you don't like us, what are you here for? Stay in your country. You stay in your country and we'll stay in our lanes. We don't need you. We don't need you for anything, for real. You know, I'm not going to sit up here and bash Africans, because there's a lot of African people that I know that I really, really am cool with. But for you to say all of that and then tell us to stay in our lane, I think you should take your own advice and stay in your own country.
Why do South Africans hate Black Americans so much? Like, what is this? I've been blocking South Africans for a while now. Like, and it can't be about some parade. The parade wasn't even meant to be disrespectful. Majority Black Americans did not learn about that Zulu parade in New Orleans until y'all did. We don't know anything about that. So the attacks is unnecessary and kind of diabolical. And also, I just saw a video with a South African man, and he said that one of you all was fed to pigs by the white South Africans. Why y'all not online using y'all's voice and y'all's platform to protest and to advocate for you all that's getting ate by pigs, that's being disenfranchised? We're not doing that to y'all. So to take digs and to try to make jokes about slavery and police brutality when you all are being fed to actual pigs is insane. Something is wrong. Y'all just use that parade as a catalyst to spew hate and to be xenophobic because y'all really hate us. And when we say, oh, it's jealousy, people like, oh, jealous of what? Jealous of what? It has to be. Because why is all of the, like, for what? This is really unprovoked. If anything, that Zulu parade could have been a teachable moment. Y'all could have said that y'all felt, you know, disrespected or whatever. You could have directed it specifically at the people who actually put together that parade. But no, y'all used it as an opportunity to attack Black Americans because y'all hate us. But what the fuck did we ever do to y'all? If anything, we helped y'all. When y'all was literally going through segregation in the 1990s. We helped y'all. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. There was a restaurant called Madiba in Brooklyn. It was one of my favorite restaurants to go to. And some of the proceeds from that restaurant was going to South Africa for aid to help y'all. Y'all hating the wrong people. It's insane. And then I see white South Africans joining in. And y'all think that shit is cute? Yeah, I'm American, but we still share the same hue of complexion. Check your fucking self. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but get the fuck out my comments, bitch. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
I don't understand why Africans hate their own people. Like, just because we live in a different country doesn't make us any different than y'all. I mean, sure, our culture is different, but genetically, we're literally the same. And you want to know what's crazy? African people copy American culture, and Black people want more of their culture. Like, really? We're literally going in separate directions, and that's what's dividing us. This stupid ignorance on both sides needs to stop. Like, it's honestly so dumb. I can't even believe I'm ranting about it on TikTok right now. Just love everyone. Understand both sides. It's that easy. And honestly, this is something I can rant about all day. If you guys are interested, follow me and let me know you want more.
And the harsh reality of the situation is, Africans don't like African Americans. If you knew some Africans growing up, you knew at least one first-generation African kid who had parents who did not like African Americans at all. Like, their parents literally hated everything to do with African American culture. They hated the food, they hated the music, they hated the way we dressed, they hated everything, the way we talked, all that. And it was always so funny. And the part that always confused me was, you got here less than a generation ago and you already have internalized racism. You came here with a closed mind. Like, I completely understand you think that African Americans are lazy, but now your son out here having a mixed baby. Now what? But honestly, at this point, I can't even blame him. If I came over here and I saw people who look like me doing 20v1s and kiss or slap pranks and other stuff like that in public, I wouldn't want to be with them either.
Africans sure got a lot to say about American blacks. Bet. Africans don't dislike black Americans because we lost our culture. It's because deep down, y'all jealous. Y'all jealous that we the cultural engine. We created the music, the fashion, the slang that influences the whole world, buddy. Y'all really hate it didn't come from y'all, huh? Y'all bought the lie that we was just descendants of slaves, knowing it wasn't true. Cause real talk, our people was already here, bucko. You not looking down on your long lost brothers and sisters. Y'all looking at a stranger. And that's why our energy don't match. And being all the way real, y'all mad y'all ancestors wasn't taken. You mad y'all still living on dirt roads and battling colonial systems. While the ones you think are lost became the blueprint for the black global culture. Y'all could dress like us, talk like us, rap like us, but never forget where the sauce came from. And if we was just slaves, why y'all trying to be us? Y'all say we don't know our tribes, but y'all don't know y'all power. American blacks been through hell and we still came out leaders. We could talk lineage, but make sure you put some respect on that shit. American blacks don't need to prove our origin. Next time you start hating, make sure you check your reflection, partner, cause y'all dressing just like the same people you trying to look down on. That ain't hate, that's jealousy. Go on and own that, rub it in your chest.
I think this is a conversation that needs to be had. So I was scrolling on TikTok the other day and I came across this boy video and he was basically saying, why don't Africans like black Americans? He was trying to talk to this African girl at his job, but she ignored him. But he did see that she was talking to the white people. So he got to wonder, why don't Africans like black people? Let me just go ahead and say, and let me be the one to say, it's not that Africans don't like black people. It's the other way around, sadly. Black people don't like Africans. And what do I mean by that, you ask? Because when making fun of Africans was a thing not too long ago, y'all had everything in the world to say about us. Y'all called us all types of names. We were called African booty scratchers. We were told that we climb trees. We sleep with lions and tigers. We walk barefooted. We don't have no shoes. We live in huts. We eat goat. Although we do eat goat. So all these stereotypes, so on. All these very different varieties of stereotypes that made us so uncomfortable that we started to hate ourselves. And it's so crazy because we were never spoken to like that by the white man. They never made us feel less than ourselves. I could never just understand the hatred because we're literally the same color. You're no better than me. And we bleed the same. And then they say, I'm not African, I'm black American. It be your own kind. Then you call them African American and they hate it. They don't want to be associated with Africans. So they say, I'm American or I'm Cherokee. They made it seem like being African was a crime. It was just recently that the Americans started showing love to Africans. And that's just because the celebrities started showing love first. So you know what that means. Everybody hopped on the bandwagon. It started from wearing dashikis to listen to African music to now eating African food. We're finally accepted in y'all eyes. So Africans never hated black Americans. It was always black Americans that hated Africans.
And I'm West African, Nigerian, but I was born in Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska. My father went to school there. I have video on my Instagram. Comedian Godfrey, by the way. But it's the truth. Because if you remember the movie Sugar Hill.
Yep.
And there's a scene where they're doing the thing with the drug dealer. And the guy said, we can't work with Akata. We can't work with Akata. That's a word that they were calling the American blacks, Akata, the Nigerians. Akata is a word that they use for American blacks. And Wesley Snipes is like, yo, what is this Akata shit you keep calling us? And the guy goes, we don't want to work with cotton pickers. And then Wesley beats the shit out of them. But it's the truth. So African Americans and Africans have always had friction. You understand? But Africans, and I know some Africans are going to probably be like, I don't like what you... Man, whatever.
Yeah, people were upset over this clip. This clip started to go viral on Twitter.
Why are they getting upset at that? First of all, it's the truth. Africans come to America, and there's a lot of my African-American friends say, man, a lot of Africans are really mean towards us. They're really nasty towards us because they feel they're better towards us. And I think it's the wrong attitude to take because I'm West African, but I was born here. My friends are African-American and African. I think it's fucked up because here's the thing. Africa like whether you say Nigerians or Ethiopians, whatever, we were colonized by Europeans, man. We were colonized. We were treated like shit. Look at South Africa. With all the Dutch, they've shit on South Africans, man. And finally, I think South Africans, with the help of Julius Malema and all these, they're trying to take some of their shit back. Dutch people are fucked up towards fucking black Africans. And the fact that a South African, a white South African calls himself African, to me is fucking ridiculous. Like, you're Dutch. You just didn't leave. How the fuck do you steal African from somebody? How do you go? Listen, if I was born in China, Vlad, and I said I'm Chinese, I've lived there my whole life, would you believe me? Would you believe that I was Chinese? If I said, listen, and I even have the accent, listen, I'm Chinese, I promise. I've been there all my life. Would you believe me?
Yes, I would.
You would say, I'm Chinese. You would believe I was Chinese. You wouldn't say, hey, you're a black dude. You just happen to be in China.
You could be third generation Chinese.
No, I was like, no, what if I lived there all my life, I'm Chinese. I go, ni hao, and I speak Taola.
I mean, you consider yourself American?
But what you would believe I was Chinese, though?
Well, I believe you're American.
Would you say I'm black first? Would you look at me as a black man first? I was like, if
you never open your mouth, first I would.
If I didn't open my mouth and I'm sitting like this,
I would first see you as a black person.
You would say there's a black guy.
And then you would open your mouth and
I go, you wouldn't believe that shit. You'd be like, there's
Chinese black guy.
There's a black dude doing some Chinese shit. I don't know what the fuck that was. But it's like when white South Africans, that's not even real. You're not even genetically an African. The fuck? You don't even live amongst the black ones. It's that same mentality that Africans have when they come to, and I've had relatives, man, I'm not going to name them. I've had relatives go, oh, we're better than African Americans. I go, no, we're not. Because I was just stopped by the police the other day. And I'm going to tell you, I used to try to use that African accent. You know what I mean? When police stop me, I say, I'm sorry, officer, what is the problem? I am not the same as them. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not going to act like, of course there's a slight cultural difference when you're African because you know what it is? In Africa, usually they'll show African Americans in a certain light. So Africans will have...
Now my question is, do you think there are African Americans who hate black people in Africa? Do you think there are Africans who really do, like truly, genuinely, it's a genuine hate, they hate African Americans or black people in Europe? Do you think so? And my question is, if there is a hatred between these two people, what is hatred for? If there is love between these two people, what is love for? I'll give you two reasons on what is hatred for and what is love for. You tell me what you think makes sense. Now, do an African person has a reason to hate a black person who is in America, who is in Europe? Do they have a reason? This is someone who looks like them. This is someone who was born like their roots is where they're living right now. They come from the same roots, from the same motherland. This is someone, they have the same color. This is someone they were supposed to have the same culture and all that. This is someone, even if you really, really check in very well, you might even come to find out the family, they're having the same blood maybe. Maybe they are coming from the same family and they don't know. Do they have a reason to hate each other? But a white person, a black person in America, an African American, and a black person in Africa, they might have a reason to love each other. Why? Number one, they have the same color. They look alike. When you look at your brother, if you're an African, you look at your brother and your sister, and you look at an African American or black American who has lived in the USA, or any other black person who has lived in Europe, looks like your brother, looks like your sister, you have the same color. You can see, you can easily tell someone, this is my sister, or this is my mother, and they will accept. This is my father, and they will accept because you look alike. Which means your relationship is likely to be better compared to when your relationship between the two of you is not better. Okay? You are supposed to have the same culture if this person would not have been taken away from you. Okay? So, there is more. It's more likely for a black person, an African person, and a black person in Europe to have a good relationship than when they have a bad relationship. But this is what I have to say. The white man supremacy and the supremacists, like the imperialists, will always make you people, you African Americans, you black folks in Europe look bad to the eyes of Africans who are in Africa. And they will always make an African look bad in your eye as a black American, as a black folk in Europe. Why? Because they fear one thing, the unity, which is as strong, as dangerous as an atomic bomb. That's what Louis Farrakhan says. The unity of a black person is more powerful. And therefore, for this unity to be blocked, for black people not to unite, the beef has to be created between the two people, those who are in Europe and those who are in Africa, those who are in diaspora and those who are in Africa. This beef had to be created. These are a way of not understanding each other, because the hatred that is here does not make any sense. We have nothing that we are arguing about that makes Africans and African Americans hate each other. Like there is nothing that makes us hate each other. So where is the beef coming from? Where is the hatred coming from? Why do you have to hate me? Why do I have to hate you? This is something we need to really talk about. We need to really address. And African Americans and black folks in Europe should stop seeing Africans as their enemies. They should see Africans as their brothers. And Africans should stop seeing African Americans and black Americans as their enemies. They should rather see them as their brothers and sisters. Division is what gives people power out here. It's called divide and rule. Divide and rule. When you divide them, you become more powerful, they become more weak. So the criteria of dividing black people is one of the greatest weapons that an enemy can be able to use to distract you, to demolish you. What we are supposed to do as black people is to listen to our black brothers. And for you to prove me right, go around, check on African Americans, check on black folks who are in Europe who have been able to come back to Africa. Let them show you the experience. Let them show you how they are feeling here in Africa. You will love to come back to Africa. And all these stories you're hearing around, all these stories that are coming around, you'll not be able to hear about them. You'll not be able to hear anything from them. I'm telling you that for a fact. That's the truth of the matter. You will not be able to hear anything. Like, you've lived all your life thinking maybe Africans are bad people. Africans hate you. Some Africans have been living all along thinking that black people and African Americans in Europe, in America, they hate them. But that's not the case. It is something that is being made for you to believe that a black person in Africa hates you, a black person in Europe. The truth is that they do not. Because you sit down and tell me what is the reason as to why a black person should hate a fellow black person. But me, I can sit down and tell you the reason as to why a black person can love a fellow black person regardless of where they are. So we need to be aware. We need to be vigilant. Because the devil is walking around, roaring like a lion, seeking who to devour. So we need to stay alert. We need to stay alert and not listen to anything that will distract the movement that we have, the revolution movement, the unity movement, and the freedom movement. Tell me what you think in the comment section about it. I'll do my best to make sure I read the comments and give a response where possible. I am the African Streamline. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. For the returning subscribers, I salute you. If it's the first time to be here, do not forget to subscribe. This is the African Streamline. God bless.